Right, guys, good morning. Started day one. Jesus Christ, I'm dead here. Right, so listen, a few wee changes for the people who have done this before. Change what we're talking about. We're trying to do keto. There's a reason for this, right? Remember, everything we do here is very, 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 very calculated and backed with a lot of research, science. Everything that we're doing here, this is not just winged. The reason why we're doing keto here primarily is the fact that some of you did this 2 weeks ago, and then did 2 weeks prior to that. So this will be your third bout within 4 weeks. All right. That's a lot of pressure on the body, and for you to keep getting sustainable results, some sort of weight loss results, we've got to change something. Right, now remember, this program is designed to be once a month, and the people who did it 2 weeks ago will now actually vouch for that, because it's fucking hard. Right, it is a challenge for a reason. It's very taxing on the system. It is a stressful process, and there is metabolic adaptation straight away. So the people will tell you, normally I really try and emphasize is the fact that this challenge is easy and you're supposed to feel good and energized. The people 2 weeks ago were starting to feel tired. That's your metabolism starting to down-regulate to the lack of calories coming out over a long period of time. This is what happens with chronic dieting. Your metabolism just literally adapts to what's coming in. It's called homeostasis. Your body will always try and adapt to the amount of energy that's coming in, and that's what all it'll do to give you out. We'll talk about, again, energy balance and TDDE, which is total daily energy expenditure, and how that works. But something you have to understand, and this is why we're trying to get you away from this mentality of dieting all the time, chronic dieting. All right. If my metabolism requires 3,000 calories a day, that's how much energy I use per day, right? So that's how much calories I'm going to eat. So if I eat exactly the same amount of energy I put out, I'm actually happy. My body will feel happy, will feel energized, will feel good. Even if you're overweight, you will find that overweight people say they feel happier when they're eating than they will when they're diet. It's because their body is in a caloric balance. It's homeostasis with environment. You want me to do 3,000 units of energy worth of movement, then give me 3,000 units worth of energy and I'll do it. That's basically what happens. Now, when we try to lose weight, we're going to work a calorie deficit, so we try to reduce energy so that we burn more energy from stored body fat. I'm still trying to use 3,000 calories a day, but I'm only eating 2,500, right? So I'm tapping on the body fat for the rest. So I'm still using the 3,000 calories, but you're only giving me 2,500. That means there's a shortfall of 500. That means I have to try and take that 500 from fat reserves, right? That's how we burn fat. We reduce the energy coming in, so we expend the energy that's stored being burnt. But what happens afterward is you have to understand evolution. You got to understand that your body is built to keep you alive through anything that might happen. Ice ages, starvations, famines, everything. And it does this by utilizing stored energy. But you got to understand that muscle fiber is also stored energy, because muscle is protein. Protein has calories. So your body, unfortunately for us now in this modern world, won't go, all right, you're giving me a 500 calorie deficit, I will only use body fat for that. And remember, it's your muscle tissue that determines your metabolism. Alright, I'm only going to give you fat. I'm going to spare all the muscle because I know it's just an aesthetic thing. You're just looking to, you just want to look more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. It's got nothing to do with survival or health or anything like that. You just want to lose weight so that you look better, because that's what the body perceives it. That's what you want it to be. But your body goes, shit, there's less energy around. Right, there's less food. Food is scarce here because you're not giving it any. So it goes, right, you know what? We have to stay alive. I don't know how long this famine is, or this ice age, or this season is going to last. So I'm going to start giving you some body fat, but if I start giving you too much, I'm going to start giving you some muscle tissue. Right, okay, I'm burning a lot of muscle and I'm burning a lot of fat, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you to slow down, because you're burning more energy than I'm happy with. Right, so it'll downturn your metabolism. It'll also make you feel grumpy. It'll make you feel lazy. It'll make you feel a wee bit lethargic, which is why chronic extra dieting makes you feel those ways. This is why you felt like that 2 weeks ago. The people who done it 2 weeks ago, the body was going, right, you know what? I've given you too much fat. We're now tapping on the muscle. I'm now going to get you to sit about more. Studies have shown that people in a caloric deficit for too long actually blink less, because blink requires energy. Right, so that's how the body works. So we don't ever want to get into this. So that's why it's 5 days. So because your body has adapted over those three, this is the third now in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, we want to try and mix it up a little bit. So we're trying to remove carbohydrates so we can speed up the fat burning process. This means that your food choices are going to be higher in protein, which is good. Remember, protein's thermogenic. We'll talk about that as well. Thermogenic means it burns calories just eating the stuff. And it's also very muscle sparing, so we have less chance of that downturn in regulation of metabolism. Also, from an insulin and a glucagon perspective, we'll talk about that as well. How keto is absolutely fantastic for burning fat. Guys, I love keto. See, for women going through menopause, you are basically insulin resistant, which means that your body does not utilize glucose very well. Glucose is carbohydrates, which means you should not be eating carbs, right? I'm sorry, this is just the way it is. The way that I look at women in menopause is, unless you're doing resistance training, you should not be eating carbohydrates. If you're doing resistance training, you can, because you're using carbohydrates during your workout, right? So the body starts to utilize glucose more efficiently and brings back what's called insulin sensitivity, which means the cell becomes more sensitive to the insulin, allowing glucose to come in. But again, don't get too lost up in the technicalities. We'll talk about that during the week. So what is keto? Keto means that we go as little carbs as possible. Now again, I don't mind fruit and vegetables. Fruit should not be part of keto, because technically it's a sugar, but the way I look at it is the benefit that we get from it, from a satiety and a nutritional point of view, just outweighs the fact that some carbs are in. Because the golden rule to keto is, and I don't like tell people this, because when you tell people this, they aim for it, but you can actually have up to about 50 grams of carbs and still stay in ketosis. So your fruit and your vegetables will take you to about 50 grams, as long as you eliminate the bread, pasta, rice, all that kind of stuff. So for you people who are experienced in keto and done it before, please post up some recipes or some meal choices. Write them up, take pictures, whatever. So share your pictures, especially for the first 2 or 3 days, to give people some ideas of what that means. What is a keto breakfast? What's a keto dinner? What's a keto lunch? There's loads of stuff out there, right? There's absolutely, you can Google them, there's endless amount now. Keto's that popular now that there's keto bars, there's keto drinks, there's keto freaking everything, there's keto coffee. So that's the objective now. Again, we're implementing this sort of extra strategy now. Remember, we talked about this before in the past, that we've got 3 levers that we can pull for reducing calories. 1, we've got calorie counting, where we restrict calories by counting the calories. 2, we've got time restrictive eating, so we restrict the time coming in, therefore we restrict calories. Or 3, we've got dietary restriction, which we remove a food source, which means we're removing extra calories, especially if it's carbs, because carbs normally take up about 80% of your daily food. So if we remove that dietary restriction, or we remove something dietary, we implement a dietary restriction, which means we're also cutting calories. So we're now pulling 2 levers. We're pulling the time restrictive and we're pulling dietary restriction. Alright, so we should be going deep into that caloric deficit. Does that make sense? So remember, you're waking up today, even if you're apple cider vinegar, grind of salt and lemon. Some of you might have this available today. Again, my apologies for the late video yesterday, but I was just up to my eyes in this Sunday morning. And so we can start that tomorrow, sometime today. The rest of you who are doing this longer fast, the most experienced people, you will have this in your toolbox already. If you don't, goddamn shame on you, because you know this is coming up. And then get your protein shake half an hour before your meal. Again, for the new people, you might miss today. It's not important on day 1, because your body's not really getting on that rhythm yet. But for tomorrow, you will definitely need your whey protein shake. Alright? Any questions, please ask. Have a good day. Let's rock.